You're listening to the Live Free podcast. I'm your host, Christine, certified life coach, pain to power mentor, and creator of Embody You Mindset Mastery School. I'm here today to discuss living life after disease, disaster, or adversity, to discuss living life fully once again, a life of hope, peace, and resiliency, a life fully embodied. I utilize the lessons that I learned going through not one, but two primary cancers. I'm here today to guide you to the life of your dreams, turn your pain into power, and lead you back to yourself. Hello and welcome to another week of the Live Free Wellness podcast. I am so grateful that you're here. Today I want to talk about living life unapologetically and what that means for you. Living life unapologetically means showing up as your authentic self and embodying who it is that you truly are, and showing up in a way that is, as the kids are calling it these days, kind of like a boss babe. So showing up as, this is who I am, this is what I stand for, this is my values, this is my beliefs, and I will not apologize for it. And most of the time, if we are in a place where we are being apologetic or we are playing small, it is fueled by the human need of being liked. And historically speaking, being liked meant community, which meant safety, which meant being part of the group, which meant survival. So I get it. This is a very human, it is a very normal and natural way of being. But that being said, it is a construct of your ego telling you that in order to remain safe, you must be liked. And you know what's interesting? Like really interesting to me in this subject is that most people think that if they are going to live life unapologetically, that they need to have this polarizing sort of mentality about them. They need to show up with, and I'm just painting a picture of, maybe, big tattoos and stretchers in their ears and being like, like snap, I don't give a F what you care about your thoughts. I don't care, blah, blah, blah. And while tattoos and stretchers are great and I love them, there is this image in my head that I get when I say living life unapologetically. And that's the image that I get. And I would venture to bet that you have a very similar mindset around living life unapologetically. Like you need to show up as this really blunt and maybe over the top human in order to live life unapologetically. And I'm telling you now that that is in fact the opposite of confidence. Because what that is building walls. That's taking bricks and mortar and putting it all together and wrapping it around your body and your heart and saying, I don't want to get hurt. So I'm going to convince myself that I don't care. Okay? You care. Bold person listening to this now who says, screw people, I don't care. You care. This is a human emotion. You care. But if you'd like to come to a place where you care, but you are self-loving and kind and self-respecting enough to continue anyway, then listen on. So when we live life unapologetically, we are comfortable in our skin. And chances are it took some time to start to understand who the you is behind that style, that person, that, vibe that you want to put out. There is some introspection here that is necessary, some examination here, starting to get to know who it is that you are. And that will take some time. But as you start to get these glimmers of who it is that you are, that's when you can start to really embody that person. And some clues that will tell you who it is that you actually are going to be moments when you feel energized. You feel the connection, right? And I mean, this is based on my human design. I'm the type of person where I'm an emotion-based person. But no matter what the design, as far as I'm understanding anyway, which this is a fascinating subject and I can't wait to learn more about it. More on that later. But I think that there's always an inner knowing of some kind. And that inner knowing could be a gut reaction. It could be a feeling, a connection, a little whisper. It could be an auditory yes. It could be whatever describes you. Because again, this is a episode on what describes you, right? So like for you to listen to me and say, okay, so Christine says that as long as I have a feeling and I feel connected to the earth and I feel connected to the heavens and I feel like this is who I'm meant to be and it feels authentic. If you're waiting for that and that's not your design, then chances are you're never going to get there. So the clue is, to recap, the clue is that you just know. And I don't know what form that's going to come for you, but I just know. And to further that to something a little more concrete, it may be the person that you are when you are with your most, actually, I know, it is the person that you are when you're with your most comfortable humans. So like the people that are just your tribe. They're your people. You go there when you're having a bad day, a good day, a medium day. You go there when you want to vibrate higher. You want to go when you want to vibrate lower. You go when you're at your ugliest and your happiest and all of those things. That person that you spend time with, the person you are there, that's who you truly are. That is the person that you are when you were a kid, the person that you were unapologetic about prior to when your parents told you to start apologizing for who it was that you were. And, that is a story of mine to draw a parallel here. Is I was always told I was too emotional. Always told that I was too emotional, too sensitive, too emotional. And that created a wall. I started becoming, or trying. Didn't succeed, let me tell you. I tried my best to be unemotional. I tried my best to just shoot the shit with people and not get into deep conversations. I tried my best to hide that side of myself. And let me tell you, I failed over and over and over again because the real me was beaming to come out. It was breaking at the seams. And then what ended up happening, as all of you know, when you stuff things down, is I would go from like super chill, like, nothing bothers me. I have no emotions. I'm just like most of the population. Like I'm able to just hang out and be whatever. And I can talk about the weather and all these sorts of things. And then I would blow up into this erratic, crying or being rude to people or falling apart or needing a week where I was in this deep wave and just like wanted the blinds shut just so that I could feel something. So as you see, it didn't help. It didn't help to shut off my light. What ended up happening since then is I've since then connected to the emotional person that I am. And damn, I am an emotional person. My husband can attest to this. He's most likely listening to this episode. And if so, honey, you knew what you were getting yourself into. But anyway, the thing is that I am an amazingly emotional person. And you know what happened? When I started to latch onto that, when I started to only be friends with people who made me feel like I was connected to my inner being, to my true self, and the people where I didn't feel like I was losing coins out of the piggy bank, where I didn't feel like I was tired afterwards. When I started just bringing it and being like, hey, this is what is normal and natural to me, to talk about the deep stuff, the grit, the thing that makes life life. You know what happened when I started showing up in my authenticity? Two things. One, all of the surface friendships, they dissolved. 1000% they dissolved. All of the surface friendships that I thought were surface friendships, they deepened. Because that person that I was spending time with, trying so hard to be surface, I found out that they were so deep, so unbelievably deep. And it was something that they wanted to show up in also. They wanted to be emotional also with me. And to further that, for all the surface friendships that I continue to have because of necessity or because of, friends of friends or so-and-so's whatever, those, or coworkers for that matter, although the job that I sometimes work is filled full of emotional people, so I love my job, which also attracted into my life because I decided to show up more authentically. Okay? Anyway, I digress. So the emotional people that are still in my, the more unemotional people that are still in my life that are more surface, and again, that's not a bad thing. I'm talking about authenticity here. The people who are not authentic to me and part of my tribe, they are very like, you know what? Go, good for you, man. Like, you're super emotional. Good for you. We still like you, right? Because there's no more apology about it anymore. I don't apologize for how emotional I am. Not at all. Not even a little bit. And I'm creating this episode today because I don't want you to hold back your light either. I want you to become so unapologetic about who it is that you are. And if who it is that you are is the opposite of what I'm talking about, then own it. You don't want to talk about deep stuff? It doesn't make you feel good. It makes you feel tired afterwards. Let it go. Don't do it. Just be like, nah, I'm out. Just own it. And what's amazing is that when you start to own whatever it is that you are, and I don't care, like, you choose, you pick. This world, we are so fortunate that in this day and age, we get to be whoever the hell we want to be. And when you start to choose that, and you start to embody that, and you start to become authentic in that, and unapologetic, and you know what? Let's even extend it. Grateful for who it is that you truly are. People will mirror that back to you. Your life will shift. It will begin to set up so that you have a life that is unabounding for you, for the type of person that you are. When you begin to inform people, not ask, but inform about who it is that you truly are, they will either take it or they will leave it. It will not be dramatic. It will not be some big, terrible thing where you got to cut people out of your life. Oh, I got to cut the toxic people out of your life. No, you don't. No, you don't. You just start being you. You start being your unapologetic self. And the toxic people, they will exit stage left on their own. Trust me, they will. And again, those people are not toxic in nature. They are toxic for you. There is a difference. All of these people that exist, we all are authentically ourselves, and we are useful for some and enemies for others. And that's where that, you're always going to be the enemy in somebody's story comes from. It doesn't mean that, someone's enemy is a bad person. It means that the type of person that they are does not align with the type of person that you are, or vice versa. So do yourself a favor. Stop inviting that sort of drama into your life. Become unapologetic about who you are. Only spend time and energy with the people that fill your cup. Let me say it again. Only spend time with the people that fill your cup. Okay? Because that's the secret sauce, my friends. That is when life changes for you. To give you another story, when I was in my early 20s, I was a self-proclaimed doormat, and I didn't want to be one. And I let everybody take advantage of me. And I remember lots of people telling me like, oh, just stop letting people take advantage of you. Stop caring what they think, all these sorts of things. That was ill advice. It was really, really bad advice. And I'm not going to give you that advice. You don't stop caring what people think. You're always going to care. But when you start caring what you think, that's that razor's edge. When you start caring about what you think, that is when life starts to open up for you. That is when the whole, don't care what they think, don't let them walk all over you. It just naturally subsides. Now you don't have to be really cognizant all the time of like, oh, I don't want to let them to, take advantage of me. So I need to say the right things in the right order and remember this chapter from this book that I read about, being more powerful. Don't worry about these steps. Just embody your power and these things will fall away. I mean it. And even if not all of it falls away, because I can already hear all of the objections. There's always objections. I can hear the objections. Well, you can't cut out your mother or whatever. Your stepdad or whatever. You're right. Yeah. And I'm not asking you to. I'm not asking you to cut them out. I'm asking you to start putting yourself first. So that when your mother says the thing or whatever, and Mom, if you're listening, this is not about you. But if your mother says the thing and you're so upset, I think that a person who owns their power and is completely unapologetic about who they are, number one, their mother will slowly but surely learn that you don't take that crap. You don't really care what she has to say. And then she'll stop saying it. I know that I can hear the objections, but honestly, when you stop magnetizing the criticism will subside. And this will take time. This is not week one things. This is, you gotta take some time. You gotta give yourself some grace and be kind to yourself during this process. But again, give yourself the compassion and the grace to start to embody who it is that you are, and then watch things slowly but surely, one foot in front of the other, start to change for you. Your career, your family, your life, your friends. People stop stepping on that doormat that's you. And I think I got sidetracked from my story, which was I was the self-proclaimed doormat, and I wanted so badly for people to stop walking all over me. But yet, I was telling myself the story over and over again that I was weak, that I wasn't strong because I'm too sensitive. So what that did is that brought the opportunity for good people to continue to walk all over me. Because I believed the story to the depth of my being that I am too sensitive and I am too emotional. And if I'm too sensitive and too emotional, then why would anybody respect me? Right? And as I became embodied in the unapologeticness, which is me as an amazingly emotional person, that is when people stopped walking all over me. Because my belief system changed. Can you see how these stories, they are the reason that bad things happen in our lives? And I mean, granted, there isn't I think I read a book once. I can't remember what it was called. Something about happiness and Deepak Chopra. But anyway, real good book. I'm sure there's a few of them that say happiness in the title by Deepak. But anyway, I read this book and it was saying something like 11% of unhappiness is completely outside of our control. Okay, that's fine. Okay, there's 11% of the unhappiness in your life that you are currently running through your head and saying, no, Christine, and getting kind of mad at me. That 11%, okay, you're right, you can have that. But the rest is a construct of your own mind. It is the stories that you tell yourself. I promise you. So, I feel like I've just been lecturing for 19 minutes and 40 seconds. And I'm really sorry about that. Apparently I had a lot to say on this subject. But when I get into these modes, it's because I am so passionate. Because it has changed my life in such a beautiful, beautiful way. As I have become unapologetic, my life has stopped giving me reasons to apologize. So I want for you today to embody your authentic self. Don't play small just to be liked. Don't do it. It's not going to help. Show up, and not in an authentic way. So remember that razor's edge. Don't build a wall around yourself saying you don't care. You care. Just instead make that shift in your mind that says, I care more about what I think, about me, and the way I want to show up in my life. That's all I'm asking you to do. So today, go out and live authentically. Live unapologetically. Live beautifully. Live openly. And then, once you've done that, message me. DM me on Instagram. Message me. Take a screenshot. Share it to your story. Whatever it is, connect with me. I want to hear how this went for you. So much love. I hope you have a beautiful day, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you so much for listening. If you found expansion with this last episode, then that means that others will too. And the best way to get the word out about the podcast is by leaving a review. I would be so grateful if you could leave me a review and let me know how you felt about the podcast. Included in the show notes will be everything that we talked about today, including all of my transformative programs. Change is just on the horizon, my friend.